Good evening. I hereby call to order the June 12th, 2017 council meeting of the City of Mayfield Heights. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dijon?
Here.
Mrs. Finney?
Here.
Mr. Mano?
Here.
Mr. Mercurio?
Here.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Here.
Mrs. Snyder?
Here.
Mrs. Tressi?
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. We will now move on to the acceptance of the minutes of our last meeting, which was May 22nd, 2017. I assume everyone has had the opportunity to look over their minutes. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Mrs. Finney, seconded by Mrs. Sabetta. Are there any suggested changes, amendments, or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? I abstain as I was absent from the meeting on May 22nd. The minutes have been approved. We will next move on to correspondence and announcements. Do any of our council members have any announcements or correspondence to share? Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. I did have 2 telephone calls from residents on Bonnie Lane. They are property owners, and they're happy to see that the park light response, where there used to be an orange utility fence, is now happening. So they asked me to thank the service and Park and Rec for their work. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have one quick announcement, and that is to announce our summer schedule. Our special council meetings will be held on July 17 and August 21. If we do not need, excuse me, a council meeting, there will be no meeting, but if there's something that does come up, it will be July 17 and August 21.
Madam President, I will not be here
Yes,
July
ma'am.
17th.
I'm sorry?
I'll be out of town July 17th.
Oh, you will? Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Madam President, are those at 7 o'clock?
They'll be at 7 o'clock in council chambers, just as usual. Thanks, Mayor. We will now move on to our reports of officers, and we'll begin with our mayor, Mayor DeSico.
Thank you and good evening. I want to start by saying go Cavs. Last week I attended our Community Partnership on Aging Council of Governments meeting, and this was our first meeting of the COG with our new executive director, Wendy Satin, who is with us this evening. So I will leave, I won't steal all of her report or any of her thunder, but I will report that she did want me to share the 2017 Senior Farmers Market with everyone, the nutrition program. This is all this information is available on our website and all of our social media posts, or sites, I should say. So you must be 60 years of age or older on the date of an application, must be an Ohio resident, only 1 application per household. It's a great program. This has been going on, Stacy started it. It's been 2-3 years now, something like that. It's a great program. We do have all the information necessary. You could also call City Hall and talk to our CPA representatives here if you need more information. But I'll leave the rest of the CPA stuff to you, Wendy. Once again, our fire department has garnered some recognition. I am proud to announce that the fire department has won the American Heart Association's Mission Lifeline Bronze Award. This is achieved by having a 75% or higher adherence for 90 days on all Mission Lifeline EMS quality measures to improve the quality of care for STEMI patients. So in layman's terms, they had a great response rate in getting patients, heart attack patients, the correct care in a very timely manner. So congratulations to them. This is no small feat. In 2015, only 44 of these awards were given out. In 2016, only 57. So congratulations to our fine crews over there, and we're lucky to have them. You may recall that in 2014, the city participated in the early stages of the East Side Greenway Steering Committee. The idea of the project was to find a way to link together the metro parks, bike trails, walking paths, city parks, and other areas of interest. The idea has been expanded to encompass all of Cuyahoga County and renamed the Cuyahoga County Greenway. Parks and Rec Director Sean Ward, Service Director Joe Finaro, and I attended the first steering committee meeting for the renamed project last week. It was a great start for the project in that many of the cities sent representatives, and there will be future meetings, including some community involvement sessions, so I'll keep you updated. You may have noticed on your way into City Hall, we have a designated 4 spots in the front City Hall parking lot as our exchange spot. The sign was put up today. They are the 4 spots closest to Mayfield Road facing north. This area will serve as a safe area for internet buyers or sellers, and actually anyone taking part in a private deal, online or otherwise. You're welcome to use that area freely. The spaces chosen are monitored 24 hours a day by video surveillance and are well lit. I did speak to Diane Bickett last week. If you remember, she is a Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District representative, just to get some idea of how our recycling is going. And just a couple numbers, in 2015, we recycled 304 tons, which was all drop-off. In 2016, we recycled 737 tons. 508 of those were curbside and 229 were drop-off. So that's an increase of 433 tons, or 142%. So the program is working. And that was only the numbers up till April. So we're doing a good job in recycling. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. She would like to come out to have some information sessions for our residents to kind of maybe help anyone out who needs a little bit more information on the subject. And finally, I wanted to publicly acknowledge the passing of Bob Toman, a 58-year member of our auxiliary police. Not only did he spend over a half-century with our auxiliaries, he was married 72 years and worked 43 years for the railroad. He was a man of commitment indeed. So please remember Bob and his family in your prayers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any questions for the mayor? Thank you. We'll move on next to our Director of Law, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have, excuse me, I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Murphy? Okay, we'll move on to our Director of Finance, Mr. Tribby.
I have no report either.
Thank you, Mr. Tribby. Any questions for Mr. Tribby? We will now move on to our reports of committees, commissions, and boards, and we will begin with our Building Committee, Mr. DeJohn.
Thank you, Madam President. Don't really have a report tonight, but I'd like to remove from the table and totally take off the table without a vote ordinance number 2016-17 and ordinance number 2016-18. These are antiquated now, and I need to review them again, and I will be bringing them back to the table probably in the fall of this year. And just a side note to that, then I really feel that I get a lot of fight back from ordinances that I've tried to bring to the table. You know, they're slowed down, there's problems with them, and I really, my heart is really for the city, and I'm really trying to make the city of Mayfield Heights a better place to live. So just a little dissertation. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeJohn. Mr. Murphy?
To clarify, you can't just remove it from the table. You need a vote to remove it from the table, and council must do that by majority.
We've done that before, Mr. Murphy, in the past, where the person that introduced the ordinance has totally removed it from the table. Mr. Mano had done it.
I asked for a withdrawal.
Okay, I'm sorry. Terminology, I'd like to withdraw them from the table.
Once you get it off the table, then you can move to withdraw it.
Okay,
But it takes council to remove it from the table.
okay. Thank you.
So, Mr. Murphy, should we do that right now, or should we wait until we get to that section of our agenda?
I'd do it at the end of the agenda.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Dijon? We'll move on to our Finance and Audit Committee, Mrs. Sabetta.
Thank you, Madam President. Resolution 2017-34 is on the agenda. It's regarding the 2018 tax budget. Council should have received a memo from Mr. Tribby. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mrs. Sabetta? We'll move on to our Legislative Committee, Mrs. Snyder.
Thank you, Madam President. New legislation has been drawn up to go over Ordinance 2017-12, Indigent Descendant Policy. We will have a meeting soon, and hopefully the date will be determined this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mrs. Snyder? We'll move on to Public Works and Services Committee, Mr. Mercurio.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report tonight. The Service Department held its first open house to go along with National Public Works Week. Pictures from that event are posted on the Service Department's homepage, so you can go ahead and take a look at those from that event. The Service Department also finished putting up all the hanging baskets and installed all of the flowers throughout the city. Planting improvements were made to the pool entrance and the main park entrance, and these will be watered every day throughout the summer into early fall. For the next couple weeks, the Service Department will be getting the park ready for our annual Unity Days, so they're busy at work making sure things are in shape for that. After several long days, the pool is up and ready. Many thanks to the Service Department, Parks and Recs Department, the pool staff, and the Fire Department for all of their work. It was nice to see everyone pull together to get the pool up and running. Work included changing out 3 of the pumps, repairing the water heater, fixing the baby pool, and making minor repairs to the concession stand hot water tank. The road department continues to make repairs on Elmwood and on sidewalks throughout the city that were damaged by utilities or from tree lawn roots. And improvements were also made to the lot on Bonnie Lane. The lot was seeded, 3 trees were planted, and a split rail fence was added as well. And finally, our Tree City USA plaques are installed and displayed at the City Hall front and back entrances. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mercurio. Are there any questions for Mr. Mercurio? Thank you for taking my position at the last meeting in my absence. And I just have one quick question, and that is, have we put much money this year into the pool to get it started?
I don't have the maintenance numbers on that.
Mayor, I have a feeling you have the maintenance numbers.
Oh, yeah, we've put a lot of money into the pool this year.
Just to get it up and running.
Yep.
Thank you. We will next move on to our Recreation and Parks Committee, Mr. Mano.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Silver Shooters Bocce begins this week on Wednesday, June 14th at 11:15 a.m. The cost is $32 per person and includes a light lunch. Call us at 440-442-2627 to register. Please consider joining us on an upcoming bus trip. We will be going to Mill Creek and Trolley Friday, July 21st, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's $40 per person. Mill Creek Metro Park in Youngstown is the oldest metro park in Ohio. While we're there, we will visit Fellows Riverside Gardens, take in views around the Nature Center, dine in their hall, and take a trolley ride to see destinations such as Lanterns Mill. All participants will get lunch on their own. To see more of our trips for the year, visit the website at www.mayfieldheights.org and glance through our activity guide or call us at 440-442-2627. Don't miss out on Unity Days, June 23rd through the 25th. On June 23rd, Midway and activities will open at 5 p.m. and go till 11 p.m. Bands include Acoustic Jukebox at the Bocce Courts and Velvet Shake at the main tent. June 24th, the new Midway and activities will open at 4 p.m. Bands include Big in Japan at the main tent and fireworks at dusk. On June 25th, the parade steps off at 1 p.m. New this year, we've been stepping off from the greens of Lyndhurst for the last many years, and for some reason this year we can't do that. I really don't know the reason why, but anyway, the recreation director cut a deal with Mayland Shopping Center, and we're going to be stepping off from Mayland. Now the thing is, we have to let the people know on Iroquois and Eastwood and Ranchland that they got to move up to Belrose so they can see the parade step off, or there's going to be a lot of people sitting on Mayfield Road with nothing to look at. So we're going to work on getting that out to those folks so they're aware of the situation. After the parade, join us in the park for midway activities till 7 p.m. The band then will be Polka Pirates at Main Tent. Grand prize drawing will be at 7 p.m. Early bird wristbands will be on sale at City Hall and Drag a Pool beginning Wednesday, June 14th. Beer and wine will be for sale along with all our local food vendors at the park. We look forward to seeing you. We had to cancel the movie in the park, Zootopia, on Friday due to weather. We will reschedule it for a different night. Once a date has been picked, we will send notification out. Have a great summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mano.
Madam President, just so, I'll get Renee to send out maybe a civic ready notice to those residents to let them know that the parade's moved up a couple streets. We could put out some notifications too over there.
Might help too if we can post some signs or something to let people know, because there'll be a lot of disappointed folks. Usually there's a lot of people.
When they see us go right instead of left towards them. And the reason we're not going out of the greens is because I think it's Ganley rented the space behind greens for extra cars,
Really?
to store cars, yeah.
Okay,
I believe it was Ganley, so.
okay, thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Mano? Okay, we'll move on to our Safety and Transportation Committee. Mrs. Finney.
Thank you, Madam President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mrs. Finney. Are there any questions for Mrs. Finney? We'll now move on to our Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. Mercurio.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here in Council Chambers.
Thank you. And we'll move on to Planning Commission, Mr. DeJohn.
Thank you, Madam President. We do have two items on the agenda tonight. Item number 2017-35, the lot split at Eastgate for Chase Bank, and then the approval of the building there. We did meet on this last week on Monday, and it was unanimously approved, and I can answer any questions when it comes up on the agenda tonight. And just wanted to add that this Chase building is going to be a very nice brick building and going to be an asset to our city. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeJohn. We will now move on to our public portion, and pursuant to section 121.02 subsection H8 of our codified ordinances, each person will be allowed 5 minutes to speak with a maximum of 30 minutes for the entire public portion. Although this is not a time for public debate, it is your opportunity to address council with any of your concerns. Please note that there will be no personal attacks or comments allowed this evening. Also, if you are here in connection with an agenda item, this is your opportunity to address council. If you would like to be heard this evening, please raise your hand and be recognized. Approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. It is now 7:21, and we will open the public portion. Is there anyone that would like to be heard?
I'm Wendy Satin, the new Executive Director for the Community Partnership on Aging. My address is in Shaker Heights. Do you still want my address? It's 23425 Duffield Road in Shaker.
Thank you.
Mayor DeSico, members of council, thank you for allowing me to address you this evening. I wanted just to introduce myself. I come to the partnership after managing a program for the Cleveland Foundation for 18 months called Encore Cleveland, which was a great program that brought together people over the age of 50 and community issues, and the talents of the people over the age of 50 were applied to the community issues. And it's a great model, and it's one of the pieces that I would like to see brought to our east side suburbs here as a new innovation for this age group. I had a very long career in community and economic development in the city of Cleveland. I worked with all of the neighborhood groups. So my background is extensively in nonprofit management and organization. And the mayors interviewed me for the position of the Community Partnership on Aging to be the executive director because of the extensive nonprofit experience that I had and the ability to bring this organization to the proverbial next level. We're in a society now that's aging. All of our communities are getting older. How is Community Partnership on Aging going to address and embrace these changes in demographics? And more importantly, how are we going to serve as a resource to our community partners to be able to address those issues in each community? As you know, the Community Partnership on Aging is a collaboration of 5 cities: South Euclid, Lyndhurst, Highland Heights, Mayfield Heights, and Mayfield Village. And to me, this is such a unique model. When do we ever see 5 entirely different communities voluntarily get together for the benefit of their residents? And I am honored to be working in such a great environment where I have such support from the communities, from the mayors, from the city departments, from all that I work and meet through the day, the community centers, and it all will add up to more and more success for the Community Partnership on Aging. For a quick review of some of the things that we offer, I did distribute a menu of services that's much more detailed. My card is attached to it. But we provide things like transportation services in partnership with the Senior Transportation Connection that promotes social independence and social opportunities for our seniors. Our nutrition services include congregate meals, lunch and movies, cafe lunch, that's lunch with entertainment, fresh goods to go in partnership with the Cleveland Food Bank, the farmers market coupons which gives $50 in coupons to eligible seniors to shop at farmers markets around town. We have an outstanding team of social workers that have provided over 1,000 hours of one-on-one consult last year. They provide resources and referrals to help maintain a strong quality of life for our seniors. They extend that safety net when life throws challenges and obstacles at people and they just don't know where to go. As you know, we have been around for 40 years, which means this model works. And I hope to see us for another 40 years, maybe not me at the helm, but another 40 years of serving our residents. I think that one of the reasons that makes Community Partnership on Aging so strong is this collaboration that we are enjoying. We take strength from our partners and bring it out to our communities. And so what am I looking at for the horizon right now? We talked a little bit about the aging population and how we're going to have to change to meet that. We also, this is the first time I think ever that we have 2 generations of seniors in the same generation. We have 50 to 75-year-olds and we have 75 to 100 plus. And that's a reality that we're all going to have to work with and figure out how do we deal with this very different demographic. And CPA is going to be in the middle of those discussions, and I hope that each of you will join us in the discussion so that we can better serve and best serve the residents of Mayfield Heights. So when we are going to, for the next few years, as we reposition to address this change in demographics, we're going to focus on strategies and resources to help everyone age in place, stay in their homes in Mayfield Heights and in the other partner communities, and maintain independence, to keep safe and healthy, to live an active and meaningful life, and to remain connected with their community. To that end, I do invite you to call me, and please use the contact information I gave you. I'm looking forward really to talking one-on-one with you and to find out what your concerns are and what you want to see CPA do for your constituents. So on behalf of CPA, I want to thank you for your continued support of what we do, your continued engagement engagement and how we do it, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Mr. DeJohn?
Yes, thank you for coming tonight. I have a question for you. We have an inspection program on our homes in our city, and the seniors really find a hard time being able to come up with the assets to fix the violations. Do you have any programs that can assist them in fixing these violations? I know the county has the Heritage Health Program, home program, but do you have any programs that you can assist these seniors with?
Great segue into one of our new programs. We have a program that's called CARE, and for $200 a year, a senior or an older resident can access up to 6 different bundles of repair services or home organization services, or we have technology bundle. It is a wide range of services that we can do to help them with the small maintenance problems that they need. We do have what we're finding is that there is a lot of residents who don't qualify for a lot of the programs because their income is too high, but their income isn't high enough to be able to spend things carte blanche. So CARE was developed to fit that middle road. And I think we met with another building department, I believe in South Euclid, and it's a natural partnership that the building inspectors know about the CARE program. Because for things like installing safety safety bars, or to to do yard cleanup, or to remove clutter, things like that are all issues around the livability of a house. The CARE program does do that. We also have a separate program that does do larger improvements, but that is income-based, and that would be something that we would look at. So I would love to sit down with the housing department and let them know what we have available. So thank you for your question.
And thank you.
Mrs. Snyder?
I just have a quick question about the senior farmers market program. Is that based on a person's income eligibility?
Yes. It's 185% of poverty level, so it's about $21,000 a year for a single person. So yeah.
Right. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to working with you. We had a wonderful relationship with, and so we hope to have that same relationship with you.
I hope so too. We will.
I'm sure we will. Is there anyone else that would be like to be heard this evening? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello to the Mayor and Council. I'm Mary Ann Ballou. I live at 1508 Woodhurst, and I would like to thank the Building Department, Mr. Jamerson and his staff, for a wonderful service that they had given me. For the first time, I was able to go to the meeting that you had to introduce yourselves, and that's where I met some of you. And I talked to Mr. Jamerson about a slight problem that we had. And within a month, it was solved. So I want to thank everybody for their time and for the good work. And thank you for having me here for today.
It's our pleasure. You were at our Coffee with Council.
Yes.
So I'm really thrilled that we were able to help you. That is exactly the reason that we hold that Coffee with Council. It's an informal get-together. You can ask your questions, and all our department heads are wonderful. They all come to that event
The whole
exactly
staff,
for this reason.
yes, the whole staff at the building department was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks to our building department. Is there anyone else this evening? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Justin McCauley from McCauley and Company, Rocky River, and my colleague Alex Arrett. We are here first to say thank you for the opportunity to do some grant writing work for the city of Mayfield Heights. A month ago with a NOACA grant program, we worked with Mayor DeSica
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. McCauley?
Okay, I'll be
Madam-
waiting.
Madam
Mayor?
President, well, not a question. If council, we're not going to be voting on it this evening, it's not on the agenda, but if maybe council wants to have a committee of the whole, we could have Mr. McCauley here, and we can go over all of his past accomplishments and hopefully future accomplishments, and you guys can get some more information.
Yeah, that's a great idea. How did you come to Mayfield Heights? Who brought you or
Great question.
recommended
Thank
you? Or
So we do work now currently for NOPEC, of which Mayfield Heights, of course, is a member, and the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council provides our services as a member benefit to member communities. And so through a monthly newsletter that we produce for NOPEC, it was released to all the member communities. This particular NOACA Senior Transportation Grant Program was March or February, a couple of months ago. This grant opportunity was available. We came out and provided a consultation per our contract with NOPEC to discuss this grant opportunity, and offered as a one-off that we would gladly help support the city to write that proposal and then hopefully pursue getting it. Long before that, back in 2006, 7, 8, I think, I had just sort of happened across the mayor at that time and explained some of the federal government relations work that I had been doing for other communities like the city of Brunswick, where I got $1 million sewer grant, and so came before council back then and explained some of these services, and was ultimately successful.
and do you is your main focus on doing grants like sewer grants or?
That was a coincidence, but no, actually it's.
So I wondered how many we could
Yeah,
get.
right, yeah, let's get all of them, actually. But no, it's more broad-based than that. So certainly infrastructure and capital are available, but then there are program grants as well. So I'm very interested to hear about the new community partnership for aging. Certainly seniors, any sort of community development, economic development, local units of government are really the main target for state level and federal level grants, and then beyond that there are corporate and community foundations that also can be tapped, and so we would endeavor to identify as many of those sources as we can, and to use a fishing analogy, cast many lines into the water to reel those fish into the boat.
Mayor?
I just have one
Mr. Mann.
question. Is there anything you can do about getting rid of those inane Mr. NOPEC commercials?
Yeah, in the interest of hanging on to that client, I will answer that one offline.
Thanks, Mr. NOPEC.
Yeah, our council meetings are televised.
Yeah, so.
You may want to
I'll just
refrain.
Hold my breath on that one.
Madam
Mayor.
President, real quick, just a couple comments. Without their help, we never would have got that grant in for the transportation grant. Unfortunately, there were cities that checked a few more boxes than we did as far as needs, and we were unsuccessful, but without their help, we never would have got that grant in. It was a good grant. It was, they did a great job in getting it done. And it's just, that's the thing I think we need help in, is identifying grants that not only fit our needs, but that we can check the right boxes, and they can help us out on that.
Don't we have Mrs. Zeller, who is our economic development person writing our, she writes our grants. I
They
thought.
search for grants, right. They, she has a
Thought
seat
she
on
was a
a
grant writer.
program, yep, so she searches for grants, but the level of expertise that they bring is very high.
How many years have you been doing grant writing?
15.
And your associate?
2.
Mrs. Snyder?
I just have a quick question. Are there grants out there to get new pools?
the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Under
but,
Parks and Recreation.
One thing that we tried years ago that I'm not sure that we put our best foot forward here in Mayfield Heights was the state capital bill. If you're familiar with that process, the state funds itself in 2 biennial budgets. In odd-numbered years, there is the operating budget, and in even-numbered years, there's the capital budget. And about 10% of the capital bill, which is over $1 billion, is typically set aside for what they call the community pot. And if you are a community or some other kind of institutional nonprofit, you can make requests of your state rep, state senator, or a coalition of state reps and state senators to access that community pot. It has to tie to some kind of a state interest. So, for example, a pool could fit in Ohio Department of Natural Resources or something connected to parks, so that you could funnel that money through ODNR and then into your Parks and Rec capital budget. That is, I think, a natural fit and something that I've discussed with Mayor DeSico. The capital budget would be a great opportunity for us to begin examining and ramping up toward its spring timeline, spring of 2018.
And if I may add, our process, so on a weekly basis, we dig through federal and state level grants every week. And so we'll come down to about 130 client relevant opportunities. And then we go through those and see which ones are the best fits and decide which ones we want to pursue next. So if we may not know of one off the top of our head right now, next week there may be the perfect fit.
We haven't had a client ask for a pool grant yet, so that, forgive us for not having
Oh, no,
that
it's
one.
okay. I just have a thought around it, so that's all. That's
Okay,
why I'm asking.
Love to talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you so much.
Sure, thank
We
you.
appreciate you being here. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to be heard? That's right.
Must be summer.
Mr. Ward, our director.
Our pool guy.
Our pool man.
Okay, so A plus B equals C, right?
Right.
A being Mrs. Satin is the elderly population, B being money guy, and I'm C. So we have a pool that was built in 1958. No offense to anyone up here, but 60 years is old for pools, okay? I'm not talking people, but it's old for pools, so, every year we spend a lot of time and effort to get the pool and money to get the pool operable. And this year was even more challenging. And so you may have received some phone calls. Pool wasn't open the first few days. I guess I'm here just to let you all know that that's happening. And Joe and his staff and Sarah and their staff are doing a great job staying on top of this and trying to get this and keep the pool open. But it's old. It needs a knee replacement, needs a hip replacement, it needs a pacemaker, among other things. So I look forward to talking with you all in the next few months about not only the pool, but the park, and seeing what we can do in the future to get things going. So that was one comment, and the second comment was Councilman Mano made a comment that we will be starting the parade at Mayland Shopping Center this year. So I just wanted to re-get that out, reiterate that, and let you all know that there'll be new instructions and where you need to go and all that stuff. So spread the word, and we will take it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Mr. DeJohn.
Many years ago, when I worked on the parade committee, we started it at St. Clair Church. Have you looked at that as an option for this year?
Well, we hadn't, only because the parade's parade's on Sunday, and it kicks off at 1, and it may be a little difficult to,
Well, they have that back parking lot back there where we assembled, I'm talking maybe 30 years ago when I worked on that committee. So it may be worth looking into that option. I know it's pretty close to when you're gonna be having it, but rather than shortening the parade and trying to get out everybody from the northwest end of the city to come down to Maylands.
I guess typically, I guess my thought process was typically the parade kicks off at 1, so we have to back up to, people start coming in at 11 o'clock. And so it's not only floats, and it's also people just dropping off their kid for the band or for the scouts or whatever that are pulling in and pulling out. So I didn't know if with the mass schedule and how that all would work, if it would.
Our attendance has been way down, so. Just a thought.
Mrs. Snyder?
I just have a quick question about the home days. I know we used to have it in August, and then we moved it to June, but I'm seeing that you mentioned about attendance and stuff, and I think that we have so much in the community with St. Clair.
It was church attendance.
Church attendance.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were
not
talking-
parade
well,
attendance,
parade- I
church
got it.
attendance.
Well, anyways, sometimes we do have that occur, and it's just so much in this area as St. Paschal, St. Francis, St. Clair, all like back-to-back weekends, all in June. And it was kind of nice. I mean, I'm not saying go all the way back to August again, because school starts earlier, but is there a way to rethink possibly the end of July or some other time to spread it out a little bit?
You
It's
know,
just a thought.
I guess there's thought. I mean, I guess, we find with a lot of things, it doesn't know, everyone's doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
So no matter what weekend you pick, you're gonna fall on a weekend that something else is going on. The end of the year, it's late, school starting earlier now. That was an issue. Also, people try to, jam in a vacation late. Typically, that's what it seems like. But I guess we can always look, yeah.
It was just something that I've had a few people that were at one of the carnivals say, everything's so, if they space out which one they're going to go to, because they're all 3 right in a row, all in June, back-to-back weekends. And
It's
a lot of-
funny, because I heard the opposite, because people said they like it better earlier, because after baseball ends, a lot of people take vacations, and with school so early, so I heard the exact opposite when I was at baseball.
Everybody's opinion, but I just, it's just something
Possible
to
to
throw
make
out there.
everyone happy. That's-
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard this evening? It is now 7:46, and we will close the public portion. We will now move on to resolutions, and we will begin with Resolution 2017-34. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Resolution number 2017-34, a resolution adopting the alternative tax budget information format for the City of Mayfield Heights, State of Ohio for the fiscal year 2018 and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Mrs. Snyder, seconded by Mr. Mano. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Trussy?
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Mrs. Finney, seconded by Mrs. Sabetta. We've all received a memo from Mr. Tribby regarding the resolution and the tax budget information. Mr. Tribby, would you like to add anything?
The only thing I like to mention is the fact that our property tax millage will remain the same. It's been the same since the charter was adopted in 1951.
That's amazing.
Well, the fact we have an income tax covers most of our expenses. That's why.
I know the reason.
But seriously, there won't be any increase at all in the property tax rate. Well, there can't be without a vote.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do. Any other discussion or questions for Mr. Tribby? Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes, Resolution 2017-34 has been approved. We will move on to Resolution 2017-35. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Resolution number 2017-35, a resolution approving a lot split of permanent parcel number 862-29014, owned by Cosmo Eastgate Limited and known as Eastgate Shopping Center. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Mrs. Snyder, seconded by Mr. DeJohn. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. And do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. DeJohn, seconded by Mrs. Finney. We all received a copy of the plat designating the lot split, as well as a memo written by our engineer, Dan Gerson, and addressed to Mr. Jameson, saying that the lot split and the legal description have been approved. Any other comments or discussion? Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. Resolution 2017-35 has been approved. We will move on to Resolution 2017-36. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Resolution number 2017-36, a resolution accepting a permanent sidewalk easement upon Cuyahoga County Auditor's permanent parcel number 862-20-015, owned by Hidden Woods, Mayfield Heights Homeowners Association, Inc., and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Mrs. Finney, seconded by Mrs. Snyder. Roll call on the motion to suspend.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Mano, seconded by Mr. Mercurio. Attached to our resolution is a map depicting where the Hidden Woods Homeowners Association would be constructing this sidewalk, which would be on the southwest corner of Som Center and Hidden Woods Trail. And if council were to approve this resolution, we would be approving a permanent sidewalk easement to the Hidden Woods Homeowners Association. Mr. DeJohn.
So I'm just a little confused by this. So are they gonna be removing a sidewalk and replacing it with another sidewalk, and then where the previous sidewalk was, they're gonna be planting something there? Is that this?
Mr. Murphy.
Right now, there's a sidewalk on Som Center Road, and there's a sidewalk on the south side of Hidden Woods Trail, but they don't connect. And what the proposal is to connect those two sidewalks so that somebody walking along on Som can walk onto Hidden Woods Trail and not have to walk in the street. Unfortunately, the way the subdivision was dedicated, there's no right-of-way, there's no room there for a sidewalk on the public right-of-way. So if you're going to connect those two sidewalks, you're going to have to go onto the Hidden Woods homeowners' property, which is what they are proposing to do. There's currently landscaping there, and maybe that's why the sidewalk was never constructed, but they're gonna totally re-landscape that area, take out some trees and leave room for the sidewalk. But they want to then dedicate that to the city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Are there any other questions about the resolution? Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. Resolution 2017-36 has been approved. So we have no ordinances on our agenda this evening, but I believe we're going to have a motion to remove ordinance 2017-12 from the table. Mr. DeJohn?
No, Mrs. Snyder's referring that to committee. 2012.
It's 17 that needs to be
Oh,
removed.
2016, 17, and 2016, 18.
Yeah, no, I thought we were going on to, okay, we're gonna do those first and then the individual. Thought he wanted to take that off the table. Okay. Okay. So we need a motion to remove ordinance 2016-17. I'm sorry. Where are we going here?
It's up to council what they want to do. I think Mr. DeJohn
Would like to withdraw.
would like to remove them from table and then consider them.
And
Then
withdraw them.
So we have to remove it from the table.
You have to remove it from table in order to consider it.
Right.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we are removing 2016-17 and 2016-18 from the table. We have a motion from Mr. DeJohn and a second from Mrs. Finney. Roll call on the motion to remove the two ordinances from the table.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. We need a motion to withdraw.
Now you need a motion.
Now we need a motion to withdraw
I'll make that
ordinance
motion.
2016-17 and 2016-18. Moved by Mr. DeJohn, seconded by Mrs. Snyder. Roll call on the motion to withdraw the two ordinances.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. Ordinances 2016-17 and 2016-18 have been withdrawn. We have no other ordinances to discuss this evening, so we will move to motions. We have one motion on the agenda. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The first motion is to confirm the decision of the Planning Commission approving a final site plan for a new bank, Chase, building at 1458 Somme Center Road.
Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Mano, seconded by Mrs. Snyder. Any discussion on this? Mr. Mercurio, Mr. DeJohn, any discussion on the final site plan for the new bank at Chase?
No, other than what I said before, it's a beautiful brick building, and it's going to look very nice there in Eastgate Shopping Center.
Roll call on the motion to approve.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. We'll move on to our next motion. Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. Motion to advertise for rock salt bids.
Do I have a motion to approve? Mrs. Finney. Do I have a second? Mr. Mercurio. Discussion? Roll call on the motion to approve?
Mr. Mercurio?
Yes.
Mrs. Finney?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabetta?
Yes.
Mr. DeJohn?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Mano?
Yes.
Mrs. Tressi?
Yes. This motion for our bid for rock salt is approved. We'll move on to new business or comments from council. I just have one comment, and that was the mayor and I discussing that we should have a committee of the whole meeting so that we can talk to Mr. McCauley and his group a little bit further and have some questions prepared. So if Lisa, if you could coordinate that, that would be appreciated. Any other new business or comments from council? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Mrs. Sabetta, seconded by Mrs. Snyder. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Thank you. Our meeting has been adjourned.